For those of you that don't know what MuleSoft is, MuleSoft and why customers use it, on one level, it's just another iPaaS. So it's just like Zapier and Boomi and the other iPaaS vendors that we're integrating with. So it allows you to process data in the cloud, connect to various applications and systems, and push and pull data between them. So that's one aspect of MuleSoft. Now, unlike Boomi, they are not only cloud. They also have an on-premise component. So there is a Mule ESB, enterprise service bus is what that means, that allows you to run on-premise and do the same thing as their cloud does, but they're on-premise between your on-premise systems. So that's a nice different differentiator between Boomi and MuleSoft. Now, however, just like MuleSoft and other iPaaSes, Boomi and other iPaaSes, MuleSoft aims to be a no-code and low-code design and development. So the idea is you need to build APIs or you need to integrate with systems. You don't necessarily want to write lots of code, so they provide like I said, a low-code or a no-code interface so that you can graphically build these integrations. And primarily the function of this is to basically, pull data from something, do something with the data, and then insert it into another system. So it's very much a kind of a middleware that allows you to connect systems together, but not just connect, also process something, as you pass the data between those. And the fancy name in the industry for that is ETL, or extract, transform, load. So they come up in that space, and that's one of the prime uses for MuleSoft. Another use for it is in business-to-business interactions, which is pretty much almost the same as extract, transform, load, but ETL tends to be about internal systems. So, I need to get stuff from NetSuite to my Salesforce, and I can use MuleSoft for that, but they're both on-prem. But the business-to-business version of that is when you say, I need to get something from my NetSuite out to one of my vendors or suppliers or trading partners. So MuleSoft can be used to push and pull data with your trading partners as well as internal systems. All right, next slide, please.
I'll probably add a little color if you don't mind,
Sure.
just so that you guys understand. iPaaS, integration platforms, according to Gartner and according to other analysts, is actually one of the fastest growing as far as revenue goes, market space. So it's really something that our customers, or a lot of the customers in the world, are investing a lot of dollars in, or IT is spending a lot of money on iPaaS. So why you wonder we keep looking at integrations and more integration to iPaaS is really because our customers are using them. And just so that you have an idea, MuleSoft, unlike Zapier is going into SMB markets and also focusing on end user stuff. MuleSoft and Boomi are focused on more enterprise use cases. And so you will have large IT organizations using MuleSoft and Boomi. Boomi is sort of mid-market and enterprises. MuleSoft, I don't know if you guys know, but MuleSoft is wholly owned by Salesforce. So that's a big brand name. And they tend to focus on very large enterprises, just as a positioning thing so you understand.
Yep. And by the way, those are the big names in the iPaaS world, is Boomi and MuleSoft. Between those, you've kind of got the Pepsi and the Coca-Cola of soft drinks. Like they are the biggest guys.
Well,
All
it
right,
should
awesome.
not be a surprise that the other ones that you might end up seeing in the future are Microsoft and someone named Workato. Those are the other prominent names in that space that we will most likely be integrating with soon.
Shh, don't give away the secrets, but yes. All right, awesome. So to give you kind of an idea of how MuleSoft is used, this is a typical architecture. So on the left-hand side, you can see all of the back-end systems. So MuleSoft has built-in connectors that can say, I can connect to Salesforce, to NetSuite, to my CRM, to my warehousing management system, my trucking management system, my HR system, obviously EDI for order and invoice processing, and even media content systems. So the idea is that MuleSoft is really good when you have not generic things, but specific applications. There's all these enterprise and business applications that MuleSoft has built-in connectors for. So it's really good at that. What it's bad at is the right-hand side. So if you look at the external side where you have your trading partners, whether it's branches, vendor suppliers, marketplaces, anything that you have to do outside of your company can be done with MuleSoft, but it's difficult. you basically have to develop and build that connection. So even though they're low code and no code, you have to build it. So imagine as a scenario where you have, say, three children going off to college, right? If you have three children going off to college and they need to get there, the easiest thing to do is buy them three cars, right? Give them a car so they can get in it and start driving it today. That's what files.com does, because when you onboard, an account on files.com, you can connect to files.com using FTP, SFTP, AS2. So that's being able to like drive a car, drive a SUV, drive a motorcycle. We let you travel however you like, so your kids can get to college. With MuleSoft, it would be like saying, I have three children I want to send to college. Here are the car parts. Build three cars without any code and still low code, but you still have to build those cars. So that's where MuleSoft and iPaaS tend to fall down, is in that setting up external connections. So our integration, our connector, allows you to connect MuleSoft with files.com. So now you can connect and have your children go to college, wherever they want to go, as easy as possible. So from your MuleSoft process, you can say, I need an account for Vivek. And Vivek gets an account on files.com. And now Vivek can connect to me using any protocol and any connection he likes, web interface, AS2, SFTP, we don't care. And once that data arrives on files.com, we can easily exchange the data between our MuleSoft process and files.com by uploading and downloading using our connector. So that's the way that our connector works, is it seamlessly connects files.com to MuleSoft so that you can exchange data and then do things like set up folders, set up share links, set up users, set up groups. So it makes it much more easy to onboard that right-hand side, all your trading partners, and do business with them by connecting the two together. All right, next slide, please, Vivek.
Yeah, I might just add the fact that basically if your integrations are file-based, you need to do them using files. Um, it is not going to be handled well with the iPaaS vendors, right? That's when you want to use files.com in your file flow, in the flow that you already have with Boomi, MuleSoft, Zapier, what have you. So that goes for all iPaaS vendors.
True. But again, the point I want to get for the sales guys when they're talking is some of these iPaaS vendors will say, well, I don't need files because I can have my iPaaS do FTP and do SFTP and do AS2. And the short answer is yes, that's true, you can. But again, it's not pre-built. You get the parts and you have to build your own car in order to get AS2 and FTP working. Even though it's no code and low code, it still has to be built. With files.com, you get a working car delivered to you and it's ready to go as soon as you get the car. Anyway, next slide, please, Vivek. All right, so just to give you an idea of what MuleSoft looks like, well, obviously it runs in the cloud, so it's invisible, but when you're developing the APIs and building your flows, you use this thing called the Anypoint Studio. It runs on Mac and Windows. It looks like this, and it allows you to drag and drop widgets, connect them together, and build a process flow. So on the top part there, you can see there's a process flow that says, okay, I'm going to get a file. My process is going to start. I need to collect a file from files.com. So I use the file download, and then it returns my file back into my business process. And on the lower part, it's an opposite of going out, where I can have a process upload a file to files.com, generate a share link to that file, and then do something with that share link, either send a message or collect it back and send it through some other method. But the point is, I can interact between my MuleSoft process and files.com without writing any code. Just drag and drop these widgets, connect them together, and I'm off and running. All right, next slide, please. So here's some details about our connector. So here's the nice thing, is it's built in to MuleSoft. So MuleSoft, this Anypoint Studio, has a bunch of certified connectors that are available in its marketplace. And the store is called MuleSoft Exchange. So from your Anypoint Studio, you can say, show me what I have available to me. It connects to the MuleSoft Exchange store, and you'll see files.com among all of the other connectors, NetSuite, Salesforce, anything you can imagine. All of those connectors are there, and so are we. Now, we've built this connector, so we're in a partnership with them. We do the building, and they obviously host it. But we've built it so that it uses our own SDKs and has all of the benefits of our SDKs. So it's super fast, super performant. It has all of the checks and balances to make sure that things get delivered and errors get retried and that kind of stuff. And obviously, by us being in control of it, it means we can release fixes and updates much more quickly than asking MuleSoft to do it. So it gives us kind of more control of our destiny, even though it's built into MuleSoft. And the nicest thing about it, finally, is if you look at the logo, some of the connectors on MuleSoft will have this blue M ribbon, which means that it's been certified by MuleSoft. So we have been certified. It's not just a built-in, but we are a certified connector, which gives us, a higher esteem in the MuleSoft ecosystem. All right, next slide,
Yeah, it
please.
also means that having a formal partnership in place means we have a partner manager, like a person who we speak with all the time to try to get aligned with what's going on. Also, that person drives the awareness of the connectors and the integrations that we have in the partnerships and what does Files.com do to MuleSoft's or Salesforce's sales teams, right? They directly connect with their sales teams and drive the awareness of this new partner, Files.com, right? So it should drive more awareness and sales to us as well.
Correct. And in fact, that's a really good point, which is we now have visibility as a certified connector to the MuleSoft and Salesforce sales teams. So as they look through these pages of connectors, if a customer says, "Hey, I need to get large files in and out, or I've got to do AS2, and your AS2 is terrible, I don't want to develop it. What partners do you have that can just give me a working AS2 car?" And they go, "Oh, Files.com does that. Why don't you look at them?" So it drives a lot more leads, which is fantastic when, again, you think of these guys as being as big as Pepsi or Coke. All right. Anyway, more details. So the MuleSoft connector has been built to have parity with our Boomi connector. So it does all of the same things. So I'm not going to go through this because it's a laundry list, but you can see that it can do all of the typical file and folder actions, create, rename, delete. It can also manage users and groups, and it can create and manage share links. So that's its primarily use cases: files, folders, users, groups, and share links. All right, next slide, please. Fantastic. So value for our customers. The first one is obviously tight integration. If you're a MuleSoft customer and you're using Anypoint to build an API or a flow, you can easily communicate with Files.com and push and pull files and do all of these things without having to write any custom code or use our raw APIs or anything like that. So tighter integration makes it much easier to develop. The other thing is it also allows wider integration with both them and us. So imagine this. If you look at our list of integrations, we don't have integrations with specific applications like NetSuite or Microsoft Dynamics or some of those, warehouse management systems. Whoa, slides are jumping. So, but MuleSoft does. So now if a customer has MuleSoft, they can take us and integrate it with things we don't integrate with. Conversely, we can provide the same benefits to MuleSoft. So for example, as I was mentioning about building your own car, the thing about building an integration with a partner in MuleSoft is you have to build the connection, build the authentication, and build all of the security and the preferences and the permissions and so on. So you're not just building the car, you're building everything about the car. It's radio, it's windows, it's lights, it's everything about it you have to build in MuleSoft. With us, when you onboard a trading partner or a user account, we have tons of security options. So if you want single sign-on, we've got it. You want two-factor authentication? We've got it. You want integration with an not ICAP system, with SIEM, if you need like that information to be sent to your SIEM system, we've got it. So things that aren't in MuleSoft, you don't have to build from scratch. You can literally piggyback off of our integrations so that again, if I onboard Vivek as a person, I can say he needs to use two-factor authentication, and I didn't have to build anything. It was already pre-built. So the two-factor authentication is not built into MuleSoft, but it is to us. So again, combining their integrations with ours gives you far more flexibility in your capabilities as a MuleSoft and Files.com customer. As I've mentioned, the connector allows management of files, folder share links, and so on. The speed and resilience is important. You can connect from MuleSoft to us using just SFTP, but it's not very resilient. So it doesn't have error checking. It's not very fast. Our connector is much more performant than, again, using raw FTP or raw SFTP to connect the two systems together. And last one here is, this is brand new, but right now, We have about 48 customers using Zapier. We have 13 already using Boomi, and even Boomi just came out recently. And MuleSoft, we expect to see a similar uptick. So hopefully, by the time we have the next NFI or an update to this connector, we'll see more customers using MuleSoft. All right, next slide,
Yeah, I
please.
mean, we can also see counterparties on the back end. So we know a lot more customers actually already use MuleSoft and Boomi, even more customers than the ones that are listed here on who's using our connector. So it's an opportunity for our sales team, account management, success support to drive awareness of and the importance of using our built-in connector.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's quite funny when you look at the folder lists in the CRM and you see customers that they don't have MuleSoft as a counterparty, but you look at their folder names and they have folders called to MuleSoft and from MuleSoft. And you're like, there's a giveaway. All right, anyway, so the assets for this. Our public docs have it. So under integrations iPaaS, MuleSoft, we've documented everything about this. The connector has a public repository because the Anypoint Studio uses repositories for holding the code and the docs. So that's available on GitHub. And then finally, on the MuleSoft Exchange, which is the name of their store for their platform, for their Anypoint platform, we're listed there as well. So that's the three places to get the documentation. Next.